2023 candidate for the Citizens Coalition for Change in council, in parliament, and so forth are not going to be coming from party structures. We have resolved that we've got a template that is currently being debated by the relevant organs of the institution, the consensus candidate selection process. And that process is going to allow ordinary people, the drivers and supporters of the movement, to be able to choose who should represent them. And for us, that is a non-negotiable process. We believe that the election that must happen in 2023, in terms of public officials, must be reflective in spirit and light the will of the ordinary people. So we believe as CCC that the people in communities must be able to express themselves. Let it not be the will of me or any other person within the CCC, but let it be the will of the people. We have encouraged our people, and I'll take this opportunity to encourage everyone within the movement, that the opportunity for anyone to be a deployee of the party is there for them to go to public office, but let it be a reflective of the people. If the people say we don't believe that this one must be a leader, the party must not have a say. The party can have a say on other people that are deployed, not necessarily be coming from the, for example, in Senate, for example, in proportional representation. And that again is going to be based on your contribution to the national democratic project. To what extent have you committed yourself to voter registration, to spreading the message of change, campaigning for the organization, and of course being and standing on behalf of the people? Because we believe that once we get it wrong on the reflection of the people, we have a problem of apathy, particularly in urban areas and all over the country where we've had problems before. We believe that let the community be able to express themselves, because these are the people that are obviously going to cast the ballot. So if they think that Ostallos has been given a seat to be a member of parliament or a councillor, and he doesn't stay with us, he doesn't represent us, if the people feel this way and the party forces Ostallos into the ballot paper as a candidate for council, the people are going to be apathetic. That's why you see there was a mismatch in our previous participation in our yesteryear movement between the presidential candidate and the member of parliament or the councillor candidate. Whereas in reality, it is the councillor who must get more votes because he is more connected to the people in the community. So the councillor must actually be bringing votes to the organization and votes for the president, not vice versa. So that mismatch can only be resolved if we make sure that against all internal interest, we have a candidate that is reflected for and coming from the community.
So I would say this issue of public or community candidate selection is probably easier said than done. And I guess I would say to you, there was the Ward 26
Yes.
in Masvingo,
Yes.
where you ended up having two elections because there were gatekeepers in the party who ignored what the community were actually saying. Are you not likely to have such a situation again?
Thank you very much. You raised very important examples. We participated in the elections, in the by-elections, and with lessons learned. One of the key lessons, and I think that we've had our champion-in-chief, the president, emphasizing on that particular point. Our candidate selection process, we put it to test during the by-elections, and it helped us to see whether is it a possible route or not. And it had almost 96–97% efficacy because it only failed with reference to Nketa here in Bulawayo and reference to what in Masvingo Urban. And one of the lessons was that, number one, we learned in Nketa that in Ganwini that against all odds, the party, the movement, as a movement of the people, must be able, against internal interest, take what which is embraced by the people. That was the lesson number one. Number two, we learned as a movement that we cannot have a lot of people being signatories because the double candidature is born out of one person signing for another person and the other signing for another person. And we must make sure in 2023 that we have a centralized process of making sure that once the institution that is holding this consensus process, the independent body holding the consensus process. Once we've finalized, once the internal arbiter has also ruled that these are the final candidates, then we have these candidates being signed for. So, and we've tested this logistically that it is possible so that we don't have double candidates. That's one thing that we are not going to tolerate in 2023. Something of our past, we have our regrets with that, and we cannot repeat that. We have to make sure that all the candidates that go under CCC, there is only one single candidate in a single constituency.